Policy review in the wake of sexual assault allegations involving North Andover High School students finds that the school mistreated the victims. It recommends that the school stop putting them on safety plans that restricted their movements and threatened them with punishment. That report will be discussed at a meeting in a little over an hour from now. And new tonight, two of those teens talked with 5 Investigates' Kathy Curran, telling her about the treatment and how it impacted them. Kath?
And Ed, we spent months digging into the school's actions and found the victims were further traumatized by those safety plans at a time when they were still struggling to cope with what happened.
I still have constant anxiety waking up. I still have flashbacks all the time.
Her sense of safety shattered, the emotional scars deep, as she continues to battle the trauma of sexual assault at the hands of her North Andover High classmate, Eli Tuttle.
I still look over my shoulder.
While in Tuttle's car last April, this teen says the high school wrestler went on the attack in the backseat of his Jeep, forcing himself on top of her and sexually assaulting her. Tuttle was criminally charged with indecent assault and battery as a juvenile and placed on probation. She's one of 2 students coming forward and telling their stories to 5 Investigates.
I was 15.
The other girl told police when she was at Tuttle's home in 2017, he flipped her over and raped her. According to the police report, at first, Tuttle told investigators nothing happened. Next, he said he gave the girl a hug. Then he said they had sex. He denies the allegations and was never criminally charged. The girl's mother says prosecutors thought her daughter was too fragile to testify.
I felt like everyone thought I was lying and that there was no point in talking about it or doing anything about it if nobody would understand what I went through.
When both teens returned to classes here at North Andover High, their movements were restricted by the school to try to prevent them from running into Eli Tuttle. They say those restrictions made them feel like they were being punished at a time when they were still traumatized.
They made us feel like we did something wrong. I was verbally threatened to be disciplined if I did not abide by the safety plan, and he was allowed to continue on his sports teams and continue his education.
When I went back to the school, I was told to go in a room upstairs, and they had a man follow me around the school.
Those safety plans were put in place after investigations done by school administrators found no Title IX violations, even though Title IX bars sexual harassment of students, including sexual violence and unwelcome sexual advances, impacting access to equal education in a safe environment. And steps to end any harassment should not penalize the student who was the target.
I felt like I was being punished. It was just very unfair.
They knew all about it and they did nothing about it.
Since these teens came forward, other North Andover students have said they were also sexually assaulted by Eli Tuttle, who now at the age of 18 is criminally charged with attacking again, while on probation, raping a 17-year-old girl in New Hampshire twice in a matter of hours. Police say he parked his Jeep, pulled the girl into the back seat, choked and raped her, the girl pleading with him to stop.
Knowing that it's the same perpetrator that did this to me is very frustrating.
The school environment forced one victim to enroll in night school, the other left North Andover High, while Eli Tuttle remained in school and was allowed to participate in athletics until his New Hampshire arrest.
It's despicable.
Michelle Crow is the mother of one of the girls.
You know, now they have some explaining to do. Why was he still walking up and down the hallways of North Andover High School?
Who do you think failed?
The school failed. They had one job, and that was to make sure it didn't happen again.
And the Tuttle family says their son stands accused of a crime he didn't commit, and they find it appalling that prior uncharged accusations are being used against him. We asked for records related to all of North Andover's Title IX investigations. This is what we received.